Yo, it's time for the newest episode of Stocks and Bars, and today I got with me one of my big homies, once again from the Empower Empire, breaking it down for you. We're going to talk about the blessings of the pandemic. Sure, pandemic wasn't good for a lot of folks, but there's always a silver lining. So check us out as we talk about how the pandemic has blessed us. Let's go. I got my clique ready to use the money they got from jobs, encouraging, teaching them that it's not so hard. I'm doing this, making investing pop. You law, it's extra. You tuning in to Stocks and Bars. Yo, the latest episode of Stocks and Bars. I got a return of the big homie. You know, my Empower Empire. We deep, but I had to get my guy back on here, man. Last time I did a nice little introduction, and this time I'm still gonna bring him in because this guy, I can't do enough, man. So this guy here, without this guy, there would be no Stocks and Bars. Okay. Period. This guy here has schooled me on the podcast game. He schooled me on investing so many different times, and we exchange our schoolings over time, man. Webmaster, this guy is excellent when it comes to doing anything online. He's my go-to. This is my homie, man, my big homie. Killer Cam, what's going on, man?
I feel like people should be clapping right now after you said all that.
That's the whole premise, man. I got to give you your flowers, man. I love you, brother. You just don't know, man. Since you've been in my life, it's awesome. So I appreciate you to the fullest, and welcome back to the show, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I got to correct you on something, though, man.
What's up?
You said I taught you about the stock game. I ain't teach you a damn. I ain't teach you nothing.
Nah, you remember you was trading before me, and so when we started talking about it,
I was doing basic stuff though. I was just doing like mutual funds back. You know, I wasn't doing like any real stock. I wasn't doing stocks until I had we had talked, and I remember the first stock you told me to buy. It was General Mills.
General Mills, GIS.
And I remember I bought it at like $38. It went up to like $51, right? And then it went down to like $45. And then I got mad at you. I was like, man, you told me to keep this. And then you was like, what are you mad at? You made money. Like, because I had sold it. It's like, you made money. What are you mad for?
Happens all the time, man. All the time. One of the things that a lot of people go into when it comes to the market is what they miss out on. It's like,
yeah, right. Once I got past that, man, like not caring about what I missed, you know, everything went smooth. Because you ain't gonna sell at the absolute top, and you ain't gonna buy at the absolute bottom. It's absolutely impossible, actually, to sell at the absolute top, because over time it always goes up.
Right.
So you just got to pick the time that you want to take your money.
Right. Yeah, we're going to come back to that one. So this episode, we're going to talk about the blessings of the pandemic. The pandemic was sad. Yes, there were some lives lost and all that. And that's the somber part about it. There's always a silver lining when it comes to anything, and the pandemic is no exception. The pandemic has brought to us the greatest hits, such as stay at home, the internet, making your own job. The pandemic has done some great for us, and we need to recognize this. It's actually sped up the timeline for what needed to happen, because a lot of people were just going to work, burned out, doing just the regular ho-hum, and then all of a sudden, everything comes to a crashing halt. And within 1 month, everybody had to make an adjustment super fast. Yeah, and surprisingly, we did it with no problem, which hints that it could have been done a long time ago. We could have always been in this situation when the internet has been here since when, like late 99? Then We got the developments with technology. And I'll be willing to bet you that we could have been remote or anything like that basically since 2010. What you think?
Man, we could have been remote before that. I remember when I was in college, my aunt had like a old Windows computer. Like I was like the go-to guy in the family if somebody had an issue on the
Yeah.
computer. And so my aunt, she lived in Cincinnati. She had so many issues that I went to Cincinnati one time and I put oh my God, it was I forgot the name of the company, but it's like a remote desktop kind of thing.
Yeah. Where they
And
log in remotely.
this was like 2003. And she called me one day and be like, my computer doing this. And I'd be like, all right. And I just, from my house, I would just, I'm 4 hours away. I just log in on her computer and I fix it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So the technology was there. The mindset and the thinking of business owners were not there.
Yeah. They didn't look that far
They ain't
advanced in
look,
the
they ain't
future.
look, to me, you didn't really have to look that far though. All you had to do was just see the use case. Right?
Yeah.
Or not really a use case, but just see how people are using it. If you think about, we had Skype back then. I remember
Yeah.
AOL Instant Messenger, all this stuff had, the same type of communication, portals as we have now. Businesses using like Microsoft Office, or not Office, but Microsoft like cloud stuff, like Teams for
Yeah.
messaging and stuff. You could easily use something else for messaging back then and done the same thing.
They could have just used the BlackBerry because that was popping back then.
Or a sidekick.
Yeah, so you're saying we could have been there a long time ago.
Yeah, because in the United States, the internet speed from the early 2000s to now, it really hasn't
No, it hasn't
it
changed
hasn't
much.
done anything. I mean,
Mm-mm.
there's some areas like super big cities, Cali, New York, that might have like fiber
Yeah.
in residential areas, but for the most part, everybody's been running cable. Like 20 to 50 megabytes
Yeah.
cable since the early 2000s.
That's a fact. I didn't think about it from that perspective. I thought about it just from the outlook where people just didn't take advantage of looking at it like, I don't need to be here.
Mm-hmm.
I could just log in and do this.
Right, right.
Yeah. So the blessings of the pandemic. One thing that I think the pandemic did for all of us is realize the value of time. Since everyone's had a chance to stay home and stay with their families and their friends and everything, everyone realized that, yo, this is actually pretty nice, to get that reset, because we were always in that grind mode of just going straight to work and then coming home and then just doing that cycle, repeating it every single day. And then we would wish for the weekend. So we just automatically just threw away 5 days of the week to look forward to 2. Now we get to stay home. You get to enjoy both parts where you get to be comfortable and be happy at home. And you still get to do your business that you got to do at home and be there at moments that you never had before. So now we're in this part where you got people who have gotten used to that and said, I'm not going back. I ain't doing that again. And you got employers out there saying, oh, people don't want to work. They don't want to do this. They stay at home. They getting, money from the government. They don't want. I was like, oh, no. When it comes to a budget, everybody needs to realize that there is no growth in it, really. It just shifts where that money went. So that pot where all that money used to go has switched to somewhere else. Now we've got people doing Instacart, Grubhub, like DoorDash, like you're doing, Uber. There's all sorts of things now where people can just go ahead and make their own income at their own time and live, still have the lifestyle that they had and wanted without the pressures of having to clock in, be under pressure by somebody else above you telling you got to have this done and all that. Dead. Beautiful. The internet is here, baby. Let's give that a round of applause. The internet at its best, man. It is creating jobs, and we need to respect that. So we already talked about, the blessings of the pandemic there, and now we're talking about the employers here. So for a guy or a woman who is doing their own thing, making their own jobs, all right, and then we have this job market out there that's saying, yo, there's nobody who wants to work, which is a false narrative. They haven't adjusted to what the market is telling them what they need to adjust to. So on that, what do you think employers are going to do to have to attract people to come back to work?
um they're gonna have to switch to like a hybrid system to let
Mm,
people work from home 2 or 3 days a week and be in the office, 2 or 3 days a week, something like that. That's
yeah,
at the very least what they're gonna have to do. And I actually think it's in their benefit if they did do something like that, because you save on the company, saves on electricity. Well, they just save on different utilities
yeah,
because everybody isn't there just sucking up all the energy and stuff like
right.
that. So, I mean, that's just, I'm not diving too deep into everything that would benefit them, but from a financial standpoint, basically bills would go down. Um, as long as you're not losing production. Now, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that companies, there was a study done about people working from home during the pandemic, and employers found that their employees were just as productive, or
Right.
most of the time even more productive at home, because they almost the employees almost tricked themselves
To working more.
to working more because
Yeah.
you at home. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So
Right.
yeah, you waiting to get off at 5, but you looking up at the clock at 3. You at home. You want to go get some popcorn, you go pop some popcorn. It's
Yeah.
not the same as being in the office, so it doesn't feel 100% like you're working. People are still working, but they don't feel like they're working. So
Right.
5 o'clock roll around, they don't care. They got a TV on, and they can work at the same time, so they may be working till 7.
Right. They know all of a sudden putting in like about 50 hours a week. Don't even feel like it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I think employers need to adapt, man. They made the adaptation super fast, 2 years ago, almost. They need to do that super fast again. If they want people to come back to these entry level jobs, they need to realize, like you're talking about, make it hybrid for some of the gigs. Some of the places require you to be there. If you're a factory guy, you're not going to be able to do remote.
Right,
That's not
or
going to
like,
happen.
nurse, doctor, something
Yeah.
like that.
Anything that requires hands on, you're going to have to be there.
Right.
But a lot of these jobs that are entry level, or data entry, stuff like that, you don't need to be there. And not at all. So they need to adjust that. But on top of that, let's talk about this money killer.
Yeah.
I've done seen Taco Bell talking about $20 an hour,
Yeah.
$25 an hour, right? We done seen McDonald's talk about $13, $14 an hour.
Don't even forget, man. I'll ride by McDonald's and it'll say, you know, signing bonus, like you in the NFL
Yeah.
or something like that. Like they giving people signing, but it'd be like $500-$600, but yo, you weren't getting that before. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like they like, yo, get a signing bonus. I'm over here thinking I'm Pat Mahomes. You know what I'm saying?
It's real out here, man. These entry level jobs, they are fighting to get people to get in there.
Yeah. I
The
think that those jobs right there, like in the food industry, um, it's about time. I don't agree with like forcing a $15 minimum wage, because the market will do that, and the market basically did it. You know what I'm saying? They
yeah,
they they had, even though minimum wage is, we in Ohio, I forgot what it is, like $7 or something like that. They're not gonna get anyone for that. So they have to raise it to
Right.
15, you know what I'm saying? 15, 20, and then they can get some people that way.
I think something radical is going to happen. They're going to have to make it like at least 20 to make people sniff coming back, because that 13 that McDonald's talking about, that ain't going to happen, man.
Yeah,
I mean, I look at this in the literal terms, right? 1 hour of your life, okay? They're going to give you a $10 bill and 3 ones. That's how I look at it. 1 hour equals $10 bill and 3 ones.
Well, hey,
and
they might do a stock split though and give you 13 ones.
Yeah.
You got more bills. Make them feel better.
Ooh, this looks good. Realistically, man, that's how I break things down a lot of times, because it just makes it very simple in order to look at it that way. But on top of that 13, right, you're getting taxed. So it's 13, and Uncle Sam says, "Hey, I see you got 13 over there. What's up with that too? Like, give me that." Now you got 11, right? That's for 1 hour of your life, right? And then you only have 24 hours of your life. Then you dedicate out of that 24, 8 to this place. Then you're supposed to sleep 8. So that's 16. So that's 8 left. What's up? We got to get that money back, right?
Right.
You got to increase that. That's why you invest. Investing is simply an exchange of your money for your future time. People got to know this, man. You putting in money now in order to gain back time on the back end of your life. So investing is important for that reason, period. Like, Killer, we've been doing this for literally, when I think about this, is this like year 20?
Man,
2002 would have been that. Me and you, I mean, we knew each other since college.
Right.
So was that 02 or 03?
You can say 02. We can say 20. Yeah. It's close enough.
Yeah, that's 20. Then we started rocking on a Windcrease tip like 06, 07, something like that. Well, I might be putting a little bit more age on it. I think we put the website together in 2015.
Yeah. But we were
doing it before
about
that.
stocks and all that stuff, before then. Meeting up at Barnes and Nobles, you're showing me some chart reads and stuff.
Yeah, man. The good old days.
Barnes and Noble, are they still open?
Barnes and Noble is still open.
They still have a stock?
I don't think they got the stock anymore. Okay. Amazon probably killed that. It was like, go private. We don't want that.
We don't want those problems.
Yeah. So me and you have dealt with not a handful. We dealt with a lot of people who's been in the game, starting investing, asking us questions and all that. So big question I got for you. Big homie, what do you think is the biggest mistake that beginning investors make?
Thinking they're going to get rich. Like, hey, I'm about to buy, I got, $500. I'm trying to flip this 500.
500, right?
I'm trying to flip this 500 into 200,000. So hey, we all been there, man.
Right.
That's me. I got 500. Oh, I could either buy Apple. I can get 1 share of Apple, or I could get 10,000 shares of this weed stock. Yep. And the 10,000 shares sounds a lot better because they don't understand, all the basics of stocks like market cap and shares outstanding and, saying stuff like that. They just looking at, okay, I got 10,000 shares. And then, maybe the stock is like 2 cents. It's like, all I need to do is for this to go up to $1.
Yeah.
All I need to do is for it to go up to $1. But it's not going to get there because, it's not worth, if it went up to $1, it'd be worth like $1 trillion. You know what I'm saying? It's not worth that.
That's not worth it. Right.
Right.
Man, I say the biggest mistake is I agree with you. Patience. That is one thing that I didn't have in the beginning, and I had to learn over time is to be patient. And then I'm gonna say patience slash market, not market. Let me say this right. It's gonna be patient, and then I'm gonna say on top of that, managing your account. You gotta understand how to manage your account because you can blow your stuff up with bad trades
Right.
super fast. Like that 500 you talking about, and then you say, I'm gonna put 100% of that 500 in there, and you're gonna cross your fingers that that comes back to you to that 200,000 mark that you wanted.
You cross your fingers that in 3 days it go from 2 cents to $1.
And on top of that, this is like 3, right? I'm gonna have to give you your share to get 3 in, right? It's not selling when something's killing you. There's a lot of times when your emotion gets involved, and this still happens to me till this day, right? But now I've gotten smarter about it because I know that if something is going against me, I've already wagered what I'm willing to lose. So that's why that risk management comes into play. But anyway, something starts to knife against you, and you just say, "Oh, it'll come back. It'll come back. It can't go any lower."
Right? Yeah. If it got a price, it can go lower. If it still has a price, it can go lower.
Like, dog, there's a such number as 0. You gotta respect 0. It's a real number. So you said patience along with it too. Any other ones you think is a big mistake?
Not really wanting to put the time in to learn a little bit more about it is a big mistake. So just like throwing money in, and then it's good to start, but
Right.
if you never take the time to learn about, like, how market cap affects stock or shares outstanding affects the price, sometimes you're gonna miss out on opportunities, or somebody will give you an opportunity and you looking at it like, man, I ain't buying Amazon for 1,000. I ain't paying $1,000 a share for Amazon when I can buy Microsoft for $40. Well, they bought the same market cap. You know what I'm saying? They worth about the same. They're not now. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying, for an example. So you miss out on different opportunities because of your lack of knowledge, but you don't even want to learn anymore. You just fine with, just putting some money in here and there. And it's not really like a huge mistake, but if you look back at the money that you could have made, it was a mistake.
That's another form of FOMO, man.
Yeah,
man. That's another one too. When people, like you talked about earlier, when you sold and you actually made money, and then people go back in and look at that stock, and then they say, "Oh, it went all the way up here."
Yeah.
Let it go.
Right. You got it's always gonna go up. It don't matter. It's gonna go up. Did you gain or lose?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like I'll see people online, like they'll try to get people to invest, to do their forex stuff and all that other stuff. They're like, man, come over here so we can show you how to invest the right way. Like there's only one right way and one wrong way to invest. The right way is when you make money.
Yep.
The wrong way is when you lose
money. That's it. All sorts of ways to get to that path, but as long as you're making money,
right? Exactly.
You're doing better than a lot of people.
You could buy I know, we always clown Sears and Radio Shack a lot, right?
Yeah.
But up until they went, it could have been the day before they actually went bankrupt, or the day before they took the stock off, right? The stock market. You could have still made money on it.
Yeah.
You could still, if you caught it at, you looking at 1 minute chart, you're like, okay, I'm about to buy Radio Shack at 50 cents. Now that's a terrible investment. But if you sell it at 55 cents, hey, you invested the right way.
You got 10%, right?
Yeah, you invested the right way. Or you could quote unquote invest the right way and buy, Apple. Apple's super stable, but it's not immune to going down. You could buy Apple at 170, and then something happens, and they go down to 150, and you panic sell. Well, you invested the wrong way.
Yeah,
but you invested in an excellent stock the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? Versus you invested in some trash the right way. And the right way is just making money. The wrong way is just losing. That's it.
There are plenty of avenues. There's penny stocks, like you mentioned, Forex, there's crypto. There's a lot of ways that you can get this money in the market. Just make sure that you spend some time. Don't just throw it blindly at it. Of course, get involved, but make sure that when you do get involved, that you actually try to add some time into it so you get better. Because you can make pretty decent money in this market, especially right now where it's going up and down. This is a trader's market right now.
Yeah.
This is not the one for the investor because you're going to be picking up at some high prices right now. I think things are going to eventually settle down. But right now, as a trader, this is that. Okay, it's up here, buying puts. Over here, getting calls. Or like you doing, shorting, all of that. So
yeah, I kind of like shorting better than put options because I don't have time against me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I can get in, I can short a little bit, and then if it go up some, I can short again. I'm not paying extra fees. On Ameritrade, you still got to pay option fees and stuff. And plus, like I said, the best thing about it is no time factor. The bad thing about it is you can't short anything. You can only short what the brokerage has or allows you to short. So I was shorting Peloton when it was at 40, and I had got out of it a couple times, and the ultimate time I got out of it was when it went down to like 24, 23 in like that one day. Then it went back up towards 30. I wanted to short it again. Well, it wouldn't let me.
There wasn't enough shares out there.
There wasn't no shares out there to short. So I lost out on that one. But I guess it's good that they don't have shares because, Amazon, the thing with Amazon just happened. And, Amazon's talking about buying them, and the stock after hours Friday went from 24 to like 32. You know what I'm saying? So
that's the Hail Mary. Somebody
shot that half court heave.
Amazon's coming in. Woo.
Amazon, but I don't think I think that not to stay on the subject, but I don't think Peloton helps Amazon at all. But I'm also a Peloton hater. I'll tell you all that. I don't like Peloton.
I don't like any exercise equipment company, period. Mm-hmm. And I can say that because you can drive through any neighborhood, you're going to find a treadmill on the curb. You're going to find big paperweights. That's what I look at them as. So doesn't matter. No matter who it is, they go on out. Nordic Track, done. Everything. And that's exercise equipment, Bowflex. It's on
Bowflex.
It's on the curb. Or
man, you taking me back to like watching TV at like 4 a.m. and seeing those commercials come on and stuff.
I'm saying, like, this is the cycle, right? It gets hot for a little bit, then it fizzles right out because people don't exercise, man. That's not a natural thing that they do. So they'll do it for a little bit, 2 weeks max.
Right.
It sits there. And then they realize that they need that space back. They put it on whatever site they can sell it on. They don't sell, out to the curb it goes. Yep. It's gone. So speaking of out in the trash, right? We got a couple of stocks that's going down. This is a new part of things where I'm going to continue to do this every single episode. The stock versus, me and Steph was on here last time and we did a few. So the big homies on here, man, and we got to make sure that we do the same thing. All
I
right.
I like the stock versus. I
Yeah, the
like
stock
that.
versus. So we're gonna do it this way this time. Last time we did it as which one you would pick. Now we're looking at it as you building a portfolio and you got to pick some of these stocks. All right. So
Mm-hmm.
the first one I got for you. All right. We building one. You got to pick between Amazon or Google. Which one you going with?
I'm going with Amazon.
Okay.
It's not I was about to say, oh, easy Amazon. It's I guess it's not really easy, but Amazon just has more potential for the future. It's kind of like if we want to take it to music, East Coast had rap locked down like late 80s, you know what I'm saying? But then
Yeah.
toward the mid 90s, the South came through and they never gave it up. South still got it. And that's how I feel like Amazon's the South. They ain't giving it up. If they're gonna do everything in their power, they're gonna keep innovating. They're not gonna be out here like Sears, JC Penney, or whatever, and just be a retailer. They're gonna keep innovating. Peloton, I don't like the deal, but they getting into a new space. They're gonna keep doing it.
Right.
Google's good. Ain't nothing wrong with Google, but it was just, if it were me, I had to pick out of those two. I think Amazon wins.
All right. All right. All right. I think I'm going with Google on this one. Only reason why I'm going with Google on this one is because the internet is going to continue to grow, and they are the clear leaders as far as search engine, whatever the internet is. You go to Google first, and it's going to track all your information and all that stuff, and everything is going to continue to grow for advertisers. That's the space that is going to make it very easy for people to go. So
Hold it, man. I gotta argue now, man.
okay, let's do it. Let's do
I,
it.
no, I think that Google's vulnerable. They're
Okay.
vulnerable to what you just said. Think about Snapchat, Facebook, these guys reporting earnings, even though Snapchat reported good earnings, but they getting hit by this privacy thing that Apple's doing on the phones. That's
Yeah.
going to become a law. I don't know when, but it is. And when
At
it
some
does,
point.
Google's going to fall victim to that. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
That's a good point. They could be subject to some type of new type of laws that could
Because
happen.
one thing about the pandemic too, everybody's like aware now of where their information is going,
Yeah.
who's tracking me, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Hey, I'm on Facebook a lot. I just talked about um a birthday cake. Now I'm seeing a bunch of ads for birthday cake. Never Googled it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
so I think people are starting to catch on to that. Apple led the way with what they did with privacy, but I think that that's going to become a law, and they're not going to be able to track people like they're tracking them now, which will make it bad for advertisers, which will make them lose money.
Okay. So on that side, let me give you a rebuttal, right?
Okay.
All right. So you Apple users are way behind because Google has been doing that. I have my Nexus, I was able to do it. And now I got the Pixel. I've been able to do this for years, dog.
Okay.
You're able to turn that information off. So that technology has been here, and I myself have turned it off. So I
But
don't think it's
why haven't that affected? If it was there for so many years, if it's working the same way that Apple's working, why haven't these social media companies been being hit? Why is it so big of a hit now because of Apple if Google's been doing it for so long?
I have no idea. I don't know. Besides that, they may have a different user base other than what Android users have been doing.
Do you
But
figure you can split? I like iPhone, you like Android, but you can
yeah,
actually split it without doing any research 50%.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
Let's
it's
just
two.
split 50%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just split 50-50. It's not, but let's just do it. 50% is still a lot. So 50% years ago was dragging down Facebook and all these other guys advertisers, that would have been seen. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I don't know for sure, but I don't think Google's doing the exact same thing that Apple is. Google's not stupid.
No.
They they may say that they're doing that, but there's nothing stopping them from still
Pulling it
tracking in a
somewhere.
different way. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, they giving you the button like, yeah, we turning this off, but that's feeding it over here, which we still watching. All right. All right. So we're gonna see, man, if that ends up happening. I think you're right though, because overseas something like that has happened before as far as
GDPR. That's what it's called. GDPR. California got one called only California. It's called I forgot EULA. I forgot what I don't know what it is, but California has something very similar to GDPR. And I think that the United States looking to adopt that as the standard. But I don't think California and New York, they are like ahead of everyone else when it comes to like ideas and technology and stuff
implement
like that.
laws.
Right. So don't be surprised if this doesn't happen until like 2035 or something like that. But it's being talked about, and if it does happen, I think that that's where Google's downfall. Google gonna be here, period.
Right.
But that's how I think that Amazon, in this case, Amazon separates itself from Google.
All right, that was a good one. All right, let's move on to the next one here. All right. Building your portfolio, you got Amazon right now, right?
Yep.
Okay, we going to the big dogs. All right.
How you gonna go any bigger than Amazon and Google?
Oh, check it. Okay. Apple or Microsoft?
I'm going man. Okay. I was about to say this is easy again, but it's not. I'm gonna go with Apple, but I do want to say I missed out on Microsoft because of emotion, and I'm a hater. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't like Microsoft products, and I didn't like the Microsoft phone and stuff like that. So I never messed with it. And when Microsoft was at like $30 or something, just like I don't have the chart in front of me, but like 2-3 years ago. And I'm like, man, I ain't buying Microsoft. I didn't know, or I didn't care to research to know that they in the cloud, they doing so much other stuff. And I missed that. But I still don't really like Microsoft products, so I gotta roll with Apple.
Okay. I'm along with you here. I'm going with Apple, right? Chart wise, just makes 100% sense. Yeah. Now, Microsoft did ball out, like you mentioned.
Right.
It was something that I also didn't pay attention to, but I mean, it is everywhere that you want to be. Apple is there and is continuously being a leader. So I got to pick Apple.
Yeah.
All right.
Apple.
Last one.
All right.
I've been the proponent to tell anybody who wants to get invested in stocks when it came to getting involved, simply buy the chip makers, because everything that's internet or technology is going to need a chip. Just buy the chip makers. And that has worked out just well. So you got to put one into your portfolio. We got NVIDIA or Intel. Which one you got?
Oh, NVIDIA all the way. Because NVIDIA, I had said on my podcast that I didn't really like NVIDIA towards $1 trillion. I don't believe that they're $1 trillion, and around 220 is where you should grab. And I grabbed some 224. I do like it around that level up to about 300, something like that, 350, but I don't really like it about $800 is ridiculous. But but I like NVIDIA better because gaming is big. It's about to be big, and people aren't going to be, you need NVIDIA to make these gaming things run smooth, like this hardware run smooth. Intel has already proved that companies don't need them. Look at Apple. They made their own chip. They cut Intel out. You know what I'm saying? Tesla will probably end up making their own chip, but right now they use NVIDIA. You know what I'm saying? Most if you're doing some complicated graphics stuff, you're gonna do Nvidia.
Okay.
AMD's out, Intel's out. You know what I'm saying? I think it's Nvidia. And I guess the only reason why I really say that is because, to sum it all up, the companies can phase out Intel and AMD. I don't think they can phase out Nvidia.
Yet. Okay. All right. I'm siding with you. I got Nvidia on this. We building a portfolio very similar. We got Nvidia, man. They have been the leaders in that space, and people are going to continue to go to them. And like you said, they need them.
Yeah.
And then these other chip makers, you can knock them off pretty easily.
Right. Exactly.
Now, one thing we're going to have to do, we made the mistake with Microsoft and not paying attention to them. Chip makers obviously have resources where they can start to go into that space that Nvidia is in. So
you're right.
Let's make sure that we keep an active eye that if any of these guys are going to start to go into there, can they compete is the question. Can they make a quality product that's going to be competing with Nvidia to the level where it's going to take some market share from them and let them grow? So let's keep that one in mind there. So that's it. Another podcast with the big homie, man. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you. I love you, brother. Every time we get a chance to build, man, it's beautiful because we talk the same language. Talk that money. Me and Killer, every time we get together, it's like, I can't talk unless it's about this money, man.
You're right. We used to just call each other laughing sometimes. Yeah. Call, you answer the phone, we just laugh.
Just laughing.
Hang
just
up.
Hit a lick.
Because we done got in some options play for earnings and it didn't hit. And we just call and laugh and hang up. That's all. We just laugh and then hang up.
Beautiful symmetry, man. We love building, man. And that's why me and Killer have been, on the same team for years. If it's about getting better, we talking. And that's why we on this podcast right now. We're going to help you get better. Make sure you go to my big homie's website, man. Marathon Money Plus. He's got you. You sign up, you get access to the podcast. They give you all the information for the picks that they're making. And then on the website, they're doing something new where they're building a portfolio right in front of your face.
Yeah.
You can get on there and you see all the access.
I think it's important to mention that with that portfolio, we're just using like normal people money. So, we bought Nvidia, but we only bought like, I think it was 2 shares. Right? Yeah, we bought 1 share of Zscaler, because most people, the average person, when they invest, they only invest in like 500 to 1,000 max at a time. It might be like once a month, something like that. So people ain't out here Warren Buffetting it, buying 10,000 shares of Nvidia. You know what I'm saying? We doing normal stuff, spending $300, $500,000 max per trade.
This is real life.
Right.
This is to let you know that you can do this. You do not need a boatload of money in order to get involved. We've mentioned multiple times how technology has wiped that out to where it used to be, in order to get in the game, you need at least 2 stacks in order to get in. That is completely gone. You can literally go to a Robinhood, go to whatever, and you can open up your account with nothing. Fund it later. You can have it just open, waiting for you to plug it in with some dough, and then you can take off from there. So hit up the website, make sure you do that, man. Marathon Money Plus. And then they got the free podcast, Marathon Money, where you can check that out every single week too. So that's my big homie, always making moves, man. And like I said, without him, no stocks and bars, man. So it's only right. Thank you.
All right, man.
All right, we're going to get into these bars, and we check y'all next week. Peace. Me and Killer used to meet up at that Barnes & Noble. That's my fam when all we had was my bars and Pro Tools. And now our names got written in the stars. I told you how our accounts been through hell and back and got the scars to show you. We was certain we would blow. We was far from hopeful. Teamed up and formed Wind Crease, now we our own crew. I used to rap about my guns, but now I'm armor vocals. I attract cash and avoid any stocks that don't move. When you invest and know you gotta let your winners win. You eliminate your ifs, all you know then is win. Treat your money like like the 10 Commandments, it's a sin to spin. Follow protocol, you separate from the beginners then. To the stock market, we some men. We come correct, you know exactly what the business is. About to make my meals off the game, make my meals off the trade, put my name in the book of Guinness then. Sidetrack cash. Sidetrack cash. Sidetrack cash. Sidetrack cash and avoid any stocks that don't move. Stocks and bars.